TFC Youth
TV.
What's up, TFC Youth? My name is Jelly. I'm the middle school director here at the Family Church in McAllen, and I'm so stoked to be with you guys through video today. It's a little bit different, but I'm about it. Man, what a week it's been.
This is fine.
Seriously, our lives have changed drastically over the last couple of days. Like, the grocery stores are crazy right now. They look like they've been ransacked. There's no toilet paper, there's no beans, there's no rice, there's no peanut butter, there's no like chicken or eggs, and like people are getting in line at 5 in the morning. If your parents have done that, please thank them. Like, that's crazy, and that is absolutely ridiculous also, and like they love you a lot, okay? Y'all schools have been literally canceled. Some of y'all aren't going back to school till April 3rd, and I know some of y'all are just like, that is a blessing. Like, thank you, Jesus. I can stay at home, I can chill, I can sleep, I can get my work done at my own time till April 3rd, right? We see that like restaurants, you can't eat at restaurants anymore. Like, you can't, guys, you can't sit down at Chick-fil-A and enjoy the Lord's chicken in the Lord's house in Chick-fil-A. Like, how rude, coronavirus. How rude. Like, that's messed up. First of all, like, you're messing up my Chick-fil-A experience. Like, I'm not okay with that. And then churches get postponed, right? Because we can't be we can't gather if it's 50 or more people. So it's just like, dude, the world is just like, whoa, like, what is going on, right? But what's awesome is that we still get to talk to you guys, even if it's through video. And like, you guys are still able to have church on Sunday, right? Some of y'all are having church on Monday and Tuesday because you slept in too much on Sunday and like you just chilled the rest of the day, right? But hey, if you're watching this on whatever day it is, we're just excited to be with you guys and just teaching you guys the Word of God, right? And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to continue our Jesus Is series. So if you guys were here last week, you saw that Ben and Alex talked about Jesus being the Good Shepherd. And today we're going to talk about Jesus being the light of the world and what that means for our life. And if you were anything like me when I was younger, and you can't lie, okay? Like, we just got to be honest. Like, nobody's even seeing your reactions right now unless you're like having a watch party and like all your friends are like watching this video right now. But okay, just be real with each other. When you were younger, you were scared of the dark, okay? If you were anything like me, your girl was terrified of the dark, okay? I had a nightlight, and we just, every time, me and my sister, when we had like bunk beds together. Shout out to siblings, you guys know the life, it's a little rough sometimes, but we had a little nightlight that we shared, and dude, like, it was like, if my nightlight isn't on, like, it's just, I'm not down, because this is what happens. You see, during the day, your room is safe, right? Because it's like the lights on, I can see everything, everything's chill, everything's fine. But then the minute the lights go off, it's like, yo, the monsters are in my closet, the monsters are under my bed, the monsters are in my living room, the monsters are all over my house. My bed is the only safe place, and I need a nightlight, because if I have a nightlight, then if I just have a little bit of light, then I'm good. The monsters know that they can't really touch me like that, right? They can't get me because I have a nightlight and I'm safe. And that was just my life. I was like, Mom, no, like, you don't understand. Like, I need my nightlight on, okay? I don't care if I'm 12, okay, Mom? Like, I still need my nightlight. And especially, dude, okay, if you were in your bed and you were sleeping, right? It was like you're asleep right here, and you just couldn't have any limbs off the bed. Because if you had your leg out like that and you were sleeping and your leg was hanging off the bed, dude, the monster could just like, boom, come in and put you under your bed, and it's like you're gone and nobody knows where you went. Why? Because you weren't safe enough. So it's like you have to be in bed, cuddled up, all your closet doors have to be closed, your doors have to be closed, your nightlight has to be on, and that is perfect, right? Because just a little bit of light helps us. And then as you get older, right, it's like, okay, like you throw the nightlight away, you're like, I'm too grown for that, I'm too cool for that. But then you get older, and this is what happens. Everybody's asleep at home. You've stayed up because you're watching a movie, right, in your living room, and it comes a time where the movie's done and you have to go to your room, but you have to turn off the kitchen light and you have to turn off the living room light. And you're just like, how am I okay? And you go and you get the kitchen light, you're like, "Gah!" And you run to the living room, you're like, "Gah!" And you just like run to your roof, you're like, okay, I'm safe, I've made it. Or when your mom asks you to take trash out at night, oh my gosh, it's like the scariest thing, because you're just like, dude, like, Mom, I'm vulnerable. Like, I'm out there in the dark and my neighborhood isn't the safest place. Like, do you know where we live? And you just like grab the trash and you literally like kind of like run out there. You're just like, ah! You dump the trash back and you run back inside because the dark is scary, and just a little bit of light can make a big difference. Why? It's because the light cancels out the darkness. And all throughout the Bible, we see that God contrasts the light between the light and the dark, right? And even in the beginning, when he's creating the world, right? We see in Genesis, we go back and God says something. He says, "Let there be light," and there was light. We see that in the beginning, he separated the day from the night. He separated the light from the darkness. Right? In the Bible, we see that God is referred to as light. God is light. And the enemy, Satan, is referred to the prince of darkness. And there is our contrast between the light and the dark. You see, God is the light and the darkness is Satan. The darkness is the enemy. And Jesus makes a statement in John 8:12. And we're going to look at that right here down below. It says, Jesus spoke to the people once more and said, "I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness because you will have the light that leads to life." And we're going to look at the story that happens right before Jesus makes this awesome statement, this life-changing statement, and it's the story of the woman caught in adultery, right? So what's happening here in John 8, and you guys can go ahead and jot that down or do whatever so you guys can read it later. But in John chapter 8, what's going on is Jesus is out and about, right? He's chilling. He's probably like with some friends, with the disciples, just kind of going through the Mount of Olives, hanging out. And the scribes and the Pharisees, so what we can compare them to nowadays is probably like a policeman, some judges, I don't know. And people of the law, right? Basically what happens is they find this woman who is sleeping with a man who isn't her husband. And back in the day, the law was pretty heavy and the law was pretty clear. It was like, if you are murdering, if you are stealing, if you are sleeping with people that aren't your husband, if you are cheating, if you are doing whatever it is, the law is pretty clear. You are in for some serious business. You are in for some serious consequences. So at this time, Jesus is out and about, he's hanging out, and the scribes and Pharisees have found this woman, and what they do is they bring her to Jesus. They bring her to Jesus, and I'm pretty sure the scene is pretty crazy because they caught her sleeping with a man. So what leads my mind to believe is like they literally just drugged this woman out of wherever she was, however she was dressed, and they just like brought her out to humiliate her in front of the public, and they bring her to Jesus. And they're like, "Jesus, this woman has been caught in adultery. This woman has been caught in sin. She was sleeping with a man. And what the law of Moses is pretty clear. It says that we need to stone her because she is in sin. Jesus, what do you say about this?" Right? And it's just this crazy scene. Like, I don't know, like it's like a novella almost. Like it's like you've got this woman here, she's being accused, she's probably crying. These like really awful men are just like, they're blaming and accusing her, and then you've got Jesus, right? And he's just probably like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And what the people are trying to do is they're trying to corner him. People are there. The Bible says clearly, it says that they're testing him. They ask him, "What do you want to do?" Because they're testing to see. They're like trying to be like, "Okay, Jesus, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna do?" Right? And what happens here, and what I want to make an emphasis on, is that the law that these people are following is revealing this woman's guilt, right? She's ashamed right now. She is probably it's probably the worst day of this girl's life. And she is full of shame. And she's just like standing there as these men are pointing the finger at her and saying like, "Look at you and look at what you are doing. You deserve a big consequence. You deserve to be stoned." And guys, we're not talking about like the stone, like the 420, like we're gonna get, like not that kind of stone. Like what they would do back in the days, they would get rocks and literally they would all line up and they would just stone the people to death. And that is what they were about to get ready to do to this woman, right? So they bring her to Jesus and they're like, "Dude, what do we do? What are we gonna do?" And Jesus, what he does in this moment is he kneels down and he begins to write on the ground. And I'm pretty sure that the Pharisees and the people are pretty stressed right now. They're just kind of like,
Jesus, like, you're playing with the dirt right now? Like, are you serious?
Jesus, what do we do? What's gonna happen?
And Jesus continues to mind his own business. And he's just like writing on the ground, and we don't know what's written. It's not in the Bible what exactly was said. And but it does say that the Pharisees continued to ask Jesus, what do we do? What happens now? And Jesus stands up and he looks at the Pharisees, and I'm pretty sure his demeanor is so calm and so peaceful and so loving. And he looks at the Pharisees and he says, whoever is without sin, go ahead and throw the first stone. So I'm pretty sure at this point it's just like whispering. They're just like, did he just say that? Did he just say whoever was without sin? Like, and I'm pretty sure at that moment some stones dropped, right? Like it was just like, whoa. And it says that one by one they began to leave. One by one they began to leave, till there was nobody left. And when nobody was left, this is what happened. Jesus approaches this woman and he looks at her and he's like, where are your accusers now? Where are the people that were judging you? Where are the people that were making you feel guilty? Where are your consequences? Is anybody gonna stone you right now? Like, are you getting put to death? And she looks at Jesus and she's like, they're not here anymore. Like, nobody has condemned me. Nobody has made me feel ashamed anymore. Like, they're gone. And he looks at her and he says, neither do I condemn you. Basically saying, I don't judge you. I am not going to put a heavy consequence on you. I am not going to do that. And it is one of the most beautiful statements in the Bible. Neither do I condemn you. And this is why. Because in that moment where he says, neither do I condemn you, he became the light of this woman's world. And he says, go now and sin no more. After he says, go now. Jesus isn't passive about this, right? And this is where her life changes forever. Because he doesn't tell her, hey, maybe you should make sure you're married first. Or maybe you should not do that next time. Like, maybe be a little bit more careful. Maybe try not lying to people. No, he wasn't like, you shouldn't do that. Wow, that wasn't good. I saved your life. Now try not to do it next time. No, he is not passive about this at all. He's actually pushing her and being bold. And he's like, go now. He says, stop your sins. Stop living in the dark and allow my light that just saved your life. Allow my light to allow you to continue to live in the light and never allow darkness to be a part of you anymore. And that is what happens to her. Jesus became the light of her world. Jesus got rid of her darkness, right? And we said earlier that the light cancels the dark. The light will always get rid of the darkness. I was actually watching a YouTube video, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and you guys can go YouTube it, but it's like, the blackest black versus the brightest flashlight. And guys, literally the darkness will always lose. And it's so cool how even in the Bible, like there's analogies that we can see in real life, right? How God compares himself to the light and like the enemy is the darkness, and we see that light is always going to win. And this is what we want to focus on today. You see, Jesus says that he is the light of the world, but Jesus needs to be the light of your world, right? We look at this story of the woman caught in adultery. Jesus became the light of her world. He was the light that led her to life, literally, because he saved her life and allowed her to live a better one, to make a better life for herself. And Jesus can start doing the same thing for us. See, this is where things start looking different for your life, because when Jesus is the light of your life, the darkness can no longer win. And what do I mean by that? Okay, let's define the darkness a little bit. And even looking at the story of the woman caught in adultery, her darkness was her sin, right? And for us, a lot of the times, darkness in our life looks like sin. It looks like depression. It looks like anxiety. It looks like worry. It looks like lying. It looks like addictions, right? It looks like being in relationships that we shouldn't be in. It looks like doing drugs. It looks like hanging out with the wrong people. That is darkness. Anything that is not of God is dark. And we look at the story of the woman caught in adultery, and her darkness was her sin. Her darkness was adultery. And we look at how quickly Jesus became the light of her world and how quickly he canceled out the dark. In a snap, it was like, okay, you were in sin. Man, I can't imagine how her demeanor even changed, because she went from standing there being blamed and judged, right? Probably just, who knows what she was wearing. She was tears rolling down her face, covered in dirt because they drug her out. She was just standing there and she was feeling shameful and guilty. She was covered in darkness, inside and out. And then from one minute to the next, the light just completely changed her life. Completely. Jesus completely canceled out her darkness with his light, because Jesus became the light of his world, of her world. But he does something and he gives her a command. He says, stop and sin no more. He tells her, walk away from your old life. Don't do the things that you've been doing anymore. Stop now and live in my light. This is what it means for us today, that we have to walk away. We have to make a choice to walk away from our darkness and choose Jesus as our light. When we choose to walk away from our darkness, when we choose to walk away from our sin, and we choose to follow him and allow him to lead our life completely, it changes things for us. And I have a little example that I want to show you guys, and here you go. So this is our darkness, okay? This is our sin, this is our guilt, this is our shame, this is our anxiety, this is our worry, these are all the things that we've done that have been bad in the past, everything that we've done to go against God. This is that. This is all the bad in our life. And this is Jesus, right? This is the light. So I hope you guys can see. So the light in the dark. When we say, okay, I am choosing to walk away. I am choosing to go now and stop sinning. I am choosing to say no to hanging out at places I know I shouldn't be. I am going to say no to lying to my parents anymore. I'm going to say no to stop my addiction to my phone. I'm going to say no to being disrespectful to my authorities. When you say I am walking away from my darkness, I'm walking away from those habits, this is what happens in your life. The light completely gets rid of the dark. When you have Jesus as the light of your world, the darkness can no longer win. The enemy can no longer make you feel shame. The enemy can no longer bog you down with bad thoughts, right? But this is where things get interesting, because you see, for this woman, she just didn't have to walk away. He gave her a command. He said, sin no more. And for us, what that means is continue to be obedient. So once we walk away, right, we're like, okay, God, I walk away and I choose you. I choose Jesus as the leader of my life. I choose you for everything. And I choose to be with you and to choose you as my light. What we have to do is we have to continue to stay obedient, right? And when we continue to stay obedient, this is what it looks like, right? Maybe when you're with your mom and you failed the test, and we've all been there, okay? It is okay.
Okay, so as I'm editing this, I think it is important to note that it is not okay to fail exams. So what I meant by this is that it happens because we are imperfect. But if you have failed an exam, my advice is that you need to study more and make sure that you don't fail, okay? We can continue now.
Don't white out your report card, or don't try lying to her. Don't try avoiding. What you do is you tell the truth. And you're obedient, and some light comes into your life, right? You're reading your devotional. Some light comes into your life, right? Or for you guys, when you say, okay, God, I'm going to be obedient to you over what this world has to offer, over what my friends think is cool, over what my school says is cool, I choose you, and you continue to be obedient, what happens is you continue to have light in your life, and there's an import of light constantly. So this is what your life constantly looks like. Even when there's troubles, even when you're going through temptation, you continue to choose the light over the darkness, and this is what happens. You see, when you have walked away from your old life, when you have walked away from your old dark habits, right? When you have chosen Jesus to be not just the light of this world, but the light of your world, when Satan comes in, when the enemy comes in and he's like, you know what, you did this wrong, or that girl looks really hot right now, maybe you should go hit her up, even though you know you shouldn't be in a relationship right now. Or hey, it's okay to be in a relationship at 14 even if your parents don't let you have a relationship till you're 16. Or it's okay to be Googling those things right now, like it's not such a big deal. Or it's okay just to tell your parents that you're going over to your friend's house, but you're really going to a party. What happens is when the darkness tries to come in, it will never win, because you have so much of Jesus in your life. But again, guys, this is a choice. To have Jesus as the light of your world is a choice that you have to make on a daily basis, because there's darkness all around us, right? But when you make a decision to walk away and continue to be obedient to God, the darkness doesn't stand a chance in your life. Now, I'm not saying that dark thoughts or dark feelings or like sad feelings, they won't come, but what I'm saying is they won't win. When you live a life with Jesus, he teaches you how to fight the thoughts that the enemy tries to put in. He teaches you how to continually stay obedient. But again, it always comes down to a decision. Jesus can be the light of your world the minute you choose to walk away from your old habits and you choose to continually stay obedient to him, even now, right? With the darkness that's going on in our life right now, right? And with this coronavirus and stuff, coronavirus. But he's still winning, because we are on your screen talking to you guys about God and who he is in your life right now. And guys, that is a big win, because we all need some encouragement during this time. So I encourage you guys, walk away from habits that are not of God. Right? And you guys know what that is, right? I don't have to list them off for you. You know in your heart, and like when you're doing something that is not right, that is not godly. And what you do is you make a decision to continually stay obedient. And like I said, the darkness doesn't stand a chance, because Jesus is the light of the world, and the light is always going to beat the darkness. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for this message. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below what your favorite part was or what your takeaway was, and share this with your friends if you want. Share this on your Instagram, whatever y'all want to do with it. It's your video. This is going to be an even easy way for you guys to share with your friends who Jesus is. All you guys have to do is like send this link over right through a message. Just be like, share. And there you go. You told someone about Jesus today. Bye guys. Love y'all. We'll see y'all later.